Hello, and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Platform 8. This is an Anomaly game that was released on May 31st, 2024. So as I'm recording this, that was 2 days ago. And I played the prequel to this, or the first game in this series, the Exit 8. And I had a lot of fun with that. And when I saw that there was a sequel, I immediately wishlisted it. And when this came out, I had to get it and play through it. And so I played through this last night for a couple hours. And I actually intended to do a Let's Play of it. I recorded that. Unfortunately, a glitch in OBS just grabbed the very first frame with a couple hours of my dialogue. So not very compelling watching. So instead, I decided to just kind of talk a little bit about the game. Because it is a bit different than other Anomaly games that are sort of based or inspired by the Exit 8. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And it confused me for the first couple hours I was playing it. I really didn't know what to do. And it was, in most of these games, I'll talk a little bit about sort of how these work. We're at the end of the game here, but let me, we'll just reset and go back to the beginning so you can kind of see how this starts. The way that most of these Anomaly games work, the formula in the Exit 8 is that you start off in an environment. In that case, it's a subway exit that you're in, and you're trying to find your way through it. The environment keeps repeating, and you have to go through it a certain number of times. What the goal is to kind of look at the environment that you start in and, pay attention to all the little details in it, like this is a poster about LED lights. This is a poster about something with pets, and I guess one of them has fleas and one of them is got some kind of disease, or someone needs eye drops. You pay attention to these, and there's little details that you look for in them. You might pay attention to details about the guy, you might pay attention to details about the door or the vents or these rings, but you basically try to memorize this environment. And then when you go into the next environment, it's going to be mostly the same. And you look for differences. And if there is any difference at all, sometimes they're very obvious. Sometimes it's a river of flowing blood that's coming at you, or sometimes the guy might stand up and run towards you, or he might, in the Exit 8, he walks past you every time, and he just kind of stares at his phone. And if he looks at you, that's an anomaly. Or you might see, the door handles have moved somewhere. On one set of doors, the door handles might be in the middle instead of on the side. And so that's the way a lot of these games work. If you see any anomaly, you turn around and you go the other way, and that counts as progression. But it's really on the player to decide. You're looking at the environment and making a choice if there is an anomaly there or if there's not. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's very obvious. Sometimes a poster will change in a certain way. It'll be different than other ones. This game is very different from that, and trying to play this for the first couple hours, assuming that I had to go back, and you can never go back. That's basically the thing with this game, is you can never go back. You always have to go forward. What you're really doing in this game is you're trying to get past the anomalies. A lot of times they're just jump scares, or they're things that happen in the environment. Sometimes they are things that will reset you if you do them wrong, but really there aren't a lot of hidden object things where there's like an anomaly where this poster might be subtly different. There aren't many of those, and every time they happen, there's an obvious indication that they've happened. Like there'll be a poster or a sticker on the door ahead of us that'll tell us, not to proceed until we found the anomaly. As I said, I enjoyed my time playing through this game the first time. I think the formula, though, changed in such a way that really you can just run forward through this game. And once you experience the anomalies, there really isn't as much replay value because there isn't as much to look for. Where if you go back and replay the Exit 8, you might have seen all the anomalies, you might have memorized them, but there's a lot of details you have to look for, and you have to look for all of them, and you still have to kind of, you know, you might miss them because they are subtle details sometimes, and that, you know, that resets the game, and so it puts a little tension on there. It actually causes you to sometimes second guess or gaslight yourself. Sometimes you think there are things that have changed that haven't changed. It kind of introduces a sense of paranoia. This game doesn't really do that. There are jump scares and there are startles, but there's never a case where going forward you're always trying to get through the door. Sometimes you might have to wait for something to stop or wait for an event to finish, but you're always trying to go forward. That's the ultimate goal. So there really isn't that binary decision anymore. Basically, it's just wait until the coast is clear or dodge the obstacle and then move forward. As I said, I enjoyed it, but it's a bit different. And I think if I had played this game first, I may have been less excited about the Exit 8 if that were the sequel. I think the Exit 8 is the formula for this kind of game. And honestly, I would, as lazy as it sounds from a development perspective, I would love to see if they just took the Exit 8 and made more games just like it, in different environments. I mean, they could continue with this. This is sort of the subway train that I guess that you're getting out of and leaving in the Exit 8. So you're trying to get to Platform 8 while you're on the subway. They could do something more in this environment, or they could use a completely different environment. But I wish they did more of the subtle spot the difference, spot the anomaly type of gameplay. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play through the game so you can see how it's played. And yeah, I mean, it'll be obvious that this is very different from the Exit 8. Obviously, going forward from here, I think what I've said so far is really just, it would be helpful to someone who wants to play the game and is confused by it. I know I was confused for a couple hours. There's one particular anomaly that made me think, that kept me thinking that I was missing some little detail and the game was entering a sort of a kill state or a kill screen that was going to reset me. That was not actually happening. I just didn't understand what to do for that anomaly. So I'm going to go ahead and play forward here. If you don't want any spoilers, pause the video, go play the game, come back, watch the rest of it. But we're going to run through Platform 8 now. And basically what we're going to do, you'll notice that we are at Station 0 is the next station. We've just got to get through 8 anomalies. You notice I'm not really looking at the environment or really looking at, you know, the details for things. We're just moving. And this is really all you've got to do. So this particular anomaly, it'll tell you here, do not look. You need to notice that. You don't want to look at the guy with a distorted face, so we just have to get past him. And we're just going to cruise on by here. We won't look at you, dude. And after we get past him, we're good to go. And that's the, you know, in the Exit 8, the thing to do there would have been to turn around and go back to the previous car. And so this guy, he's looking at us. Again, this would be a case where, you know, we would turn around and go back in the Exit 8. Nothing's going to happen in this car, so we just, you know, go on. This one is the, you get the bloody prints, but again, nothing happens, so you just kind of go on. It's just a jump scare, startle type of thing. This one is, I thought this was a kill screen originally. I'm not exactly sure what triggers them, if it's looking at them or just getting too close and looking at them. But the way that I found to kind of get through this is to just not look at them and to very carefully navigate around them. Try not to get too close. Again, not a kill screen, it's just an anomaly. I don't mean to downplay it, these are kind of creative. This one is scary. We just have to get past her. So I'm going to wait for her to get a little bit closer. And then we're going to go past right about here. And so we just have to get past her. And so we've passed 5 anomalies. Now see, I think this is, I'm not saying this is in any way bad. I found this interesting to play through, but I think a lot of the do not open. Okay, so this one we have a guy banging on this door. He's asking, I guess, to come in. I'm not exactly sure. My Japanese is terrible, so I'm not sure what he's actually saying. Kudasai. Something about please let me in, maybe. But anyway, he all we have to do is wait for this to end. I'm not sure what happens if we open it. I've never actually opened this one. I assume it's going to reset us, though. There'll probably be some kind of jump scare that and then resets the game. So we wait for that to end, and then we move on. And that's most of it. Like, these are kind of interesting, but once you've seen them... Oh, this one, the hand one, this one was kind of scary the first time it happened. But it's just, the goal here is to just get past it. So it's really more of, I don't know if I would call this a platformer, but it's like, it's an action thing. You really just have to not get grabbed by the hand. And so, yeah, we can just keep moving on. And there's one, and he just kind of throws his hand back in there. He's trying to smash you. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I would say is a negative for this is that there really isn't, anything to, once you figure out how to play, there really isn't anything that's kind of slowing you down or having to kind of figure out. Like this one I figured out, you sit down and you just kind of chill. And we can wait for the headless zombie guy to slowly walk past us, and then we can go on. Yeah, there isn't as much. I think the core of the Exit and what made that game so amazing was just the fact that, like, it kind of drove paranoia. Like, there were things like this that would happen, and they were very obvious. But most of the game was looking for little details that were changed. And sometimes they were super subtle. Sometimes they'd be like a pattern on a tile on the floor had changed, or a poster had suddenly changed, or a doorknob that was on the on the side of the door like normal was suddenly on the middle of the door, or something like that. But that was that was the bulk of the gameplay. This is really more. It's really more puzzle solving and dealing with jump scares and startles. This lady. So you'll notice, like, the sign says "Do not look away," and of course, if you look away, she will come after you. So the goal here is just to keep an eye on her while we open the door. I notice she's turned just in that amount of time. And then she's gone. And now we've reached the white light. And that's the end of the game. So, it doesn't take very long to play through, obviously. And then, you walk out and, you get your credits screen. And it's, again, I think I enjoyed this. And I don't regret buying it. I would recommend playing through it, but I think that the lack of the paranoia about what to do and whether you should proceed or go back, that's missing here, and I think that's really kind of a fundamental style of that game. Now, maybe the developer was going for something a little bit different. And, this is certainly, I think it's cool to mix things up a little bit, but I think they really nailed that gameplay in the first game, the Exit, and the change here, I'm not as much of a fan of this. Again, I still enjoyed it. I think this is great. I like this kind of environment. I kind of miss the hidden object play. And in fact, in this game, when there are hidden objects, it tells you. it tells you that there's a hidden object. So the game is now in a slightly different mode. After you beat the game, it tells you how many anomalies are left to encounter. We haven't encountered 22 of them, so we did 8. So I guess there's only 30 total anomalies in the game. But I'm going to play a little bit more. I won't go to the end of the true end. I'll leave that as something to find. There's a couple other Easter eggs and things to find in the game. Oh, this one's interesting. The whole train car moves up and gets dropped back down. It's interesting with the floor here, too. Like, the texture on the floor is sliding, which I'm not sure. I think that might be a mistake. But the texture on the floor is sliding, you know, when things line up. Really, the only goal here, again, is just to get to the door on the other side. It's interesting, too, that the reflections don't don't change with the car. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But yeah, we just have to get up to the door here, and then when it lines up, we just kind of go through. Do not move when it is bright. So in this case, we just have to get to the door when it is not bright. So we just wait for the lights to go dim. And that's that. But most of them have... I think the confusing part is that some of them don't have instructions. And this one's an interesting one. You've got the guy outside who's kind of looking at you. As far as I know, this is just kind of a... It's a creepy one. Nothing happens if you stay, I don't think. Nothing happens if you move on. That's the bulk of it. I want to see... So we've gone through 11 since the flood. We just have to get through here before the thing fills with water. I want to show one of the hidden object ones. It's possible that I'm actually going past anomalies that... I forget what this one is. Is this the one? Yeah, okay, this is the one where everything shatters. And it's just a jump scare. So I guess there aren't as many. I think there might be like 4 or 5 of the hidden object ones. And I think in this mode it'll let us play through all of the anomalies before reaching the quote-unquote true end. So I won't go that far, but I do want to show... Okay, this one's an interesting one. So this one says, do not look back. And if you turn back, well, that's the end of the game for you. So don't turn back. Okay, this is the one that confused the heck out of me. So the guy was there when we came in. This is the one that I kept getting that kept making me think that I was playing it wrong. Like, I thought that I had reached this door, couldn't open it because I'd missed an anomaly somewhere in here, like I'd missed some subtle detail on a poster, and then, like, now the game was in a kill state. Like, it was just waiting for me to walk back here, and you see the guy in the door, and, like, you know, it was going to get me. This is, in fact, not the case. The guy will get you. He will run right for you. But the goal is to, just let's open the door for you. The goal is to just move past it. I didn't turn around and run from him for the longest time because I was convinced the game was in a kill state. And I was convinced it was more like the Exit 8. So I would say most of the... this is an interesting one too. So in this one, there are a few paths out. This is the correct one because there's nobody down there, but let me see. In this one, you'll see there's a guy, a shadowy figure in there. And likewise with... Where's the other one? Here it is. There's a shadowy figure in there, so we don't want to play with those guys. We just want to go through here. And then we proceed on. I really want to show one of the hidden object ones, because that's... or the anomalies, hidden anomalies. Do not get off. Okay. I won't get off. Um, and I won't say more about this one, but I won't get off here. We will wait. We're not getting off at Silent Hill here. Everything's turned to fog. But again, to do this, you just follow. The game tells you what to do. In this case, it tells you do not get off. And so to proceed, we don't get off. We just wait. And now things are back to normal. Ish. The fog will clear away there in a second. And the door opens for us and we can go on. So the gameplay... okay, here, finally this is one. So, it'll say here, it says, do not proceed to the next car until the anomaly in this car has disappeared. Now, I've never tried to open the door when I've seen that because I thought that that would, kind of mess things up. But there's a few of these where we kind of have to see if we can find, some subtle difference, some detail in these may have changed. And I know where they are. So... Oh, interesting. Oh, I think I know which one this is, too. There is one that is not a poster that is different. There is a... Oh, interesting. I thought I remembered them all. I'm pretty sure. I know I've seen them all because I have finished the game. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder if this is a bug. Unless it has more that I haven't seen. I thought this might be the jump scare one, but it's not. Huh. Because there's 4 that I can think of. Okay, so apparently it's gone, and I don't know what I was staring at that was the anomaly. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, here's another one. Okay, so... I don't know what it was in that one. It's not the, not that jump scare one. Oh, it's this one. So the guy is kind of wigging out, and now it's back to normal. Oh, and here's another one. So, yeah, I guess we'll kind of get to see most of the hidden object ones here. That's kind of what they're like. Oh, actually, we'll get 4 in a row. So, yeah, it's got to be this one. So you just stare at it until it's done, and then you can move on. I feel like that one that... I feel like there was a glitch. This one's a little bit of a puzzle, but if you look at it for a bit, you realize that that is a door. And, what does 8 mean that way, 9 mean that way, 4 mean that way? Now we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gotta remember the numbers. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I hope that didn't break it. and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, there we go. And so I won't go through all of the anomalies. There's 8 more. But I think the game would have more. I think the game would have more replayability if there were more of the hidden object things, and if it didn't tell you that, if you didn't have a sign on the door, it was like, don't proceed, there's an anomaly in here. I think making it a little bit more like the Exit 8, I think, is what a lot of people would be looking for. But again, I would still recommend it. I think there's a lot of creativity in the anomalies. Just going through the environment, like it was fun to play through it. I've enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, I think I'll leave that there. I would give it a thumbs up. I'm not disappointed in buying it. I had fun with it. This will be something to come back to, in a little bit of time, maybe after I've forgotten a few of these. But I think they would add more replay value if there were more of the subtle things to look for that could be overlooked. But that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching the video. Please hit like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. And I'll see you in the next one.